3, 2, 1. Welcome, everybody, to another episode of the TAMUSA Esports Podcast, where today we're going to be talking with our amazing content crew. We also have our genius founders. Anna's back on the podcast. Just a quick shout-out for some events. On March 13th, we're going to have another qualifier for our Spring Invitational for Smash, so be sure to register for that. We'll leave a link in the description below, as well as... Actually, that's it. Just kidding. I guess with that, we'll get into some introductions. Whoever wants to go first, tell us a little bit about yourself. Classification, what major.
We'll start with Trey over there.
Well, hello. I'm Trayshawn Jones. Classification is junior currently because they messed up things. But besides that, I'm also under finance and accounting.
I guess that's me next. My name is John Moses. I'm a freshman this year. I'm going for a degree in marketing. Changed that from computer science. I think that's about it for basic introduction.
Hello, my name is Trisha. I'm a computer science major, and I'm currently a junior.
So, my name is Marcus Garcia, and I'm a computer information systems major. I changed it from computer science. And I'm a sophomore, but I think in Jack Tracks it says I'm a junior, but I'm not.
I love that everyone just doesn't know what they are.
Yeah, well,
I go to school.
yeah, it's my second year.
A student here.
It's my second year in college.
My name is Jose Murillo. I go by Joey. I am the content crew manager and head streamer for TAMUSA Esports. I am currently a senior, graduating in May, and I study business management.
Hello, my name is Anna. I've actually been on the podcast before. I'm the esports GA here at TAMUSA Esports, and I'm currently studying for my MBA. And as for the content crew, I am the co-founder, along with Joey, of our current content crew.
Well, I think something that we started off every single podcast with is just how everybody got into gaming. Like, what games did you play growing up? If you can remember the first game you ever played. I can. They've heard it multiple times. It's Star Wars Battlefront on the PS2. It's the greatest game.
Wait, that's
It's a good game.
the first game?
That's the first game, like...
On
Oh,
PS2?
no. It would have been...
It's been lying to you.
No, it is.
On PS2?
Yeah.
I think they did.
That makes me feel
I
old.
think they did have it. Wait, why?
Because my first game was like on PS1.
Me too.
Because I played it on the PS2 at my friend David's house.
Oh,
But I never
okay. I
owned
was
a...
about to say, like,
I got
know
a
we're
console.
not that-
I didn't play video games up until like I was like
You were very much
7 or
sheltered.
8.
Did you ever mod your PS1?
No, it was broken as is, so I couldn't mess with it.
That was the mod.
I had to press the eject button and lift it to actually get everything out.
I had my cousin had a PS1, but it was modded. I don't know how. There was like a toothpick in the thing to close it, and there was like this disc in there,
OG
and it had like all games on it, like all games. I don't know.
It
I
was
remember
like
I
an
would,
emulator or what?
but I wasn't really big into gaming at the time, so I would just play like
I didn't know that
WWE
you could do that
SmackDown, like
with,
2006. I don't know what.
I didn't know you could do that with like a PS1, like mod it like that.
I didn't
thought
know
it was just you grab
My
a
first-
CD, you put it in there.
he modded his Xbox 360 too, but he got banned for it.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's unfortunate.
So how'd that couch get into gaming?
Mainly it was online gaming, such as Pop Tropica, which is through a web browser, or another fan favorite, World of Warcraft is another one that I got into. Yeah.
My parents kept a relatively tight leash on me, so most of the stuff I was allowed to do was like single player at home or bring over friends. So the ones that I remember the most was Star Wars Battlefront 2 for the original Xbox. Played that with friends. I played Minecraft Pocket Edition, the light version, because my parents refused to pay the $8 for the full version.
Yep.
And there's one other mobile game. It was like BitLife or something, where I just took I
I
took
remember
control of
that.
an apartment building and forced people to live where I wanted them to. It was pretty nice.
My first game ever. Do you guys remember Purple Palace?
Oh my god.
Yes.
Oh,
That was
no.
my
On
very
Windows?
first game. Yeah.
Oh, the Windows.
Yeah.
one.
Yeah. That was
I
my
don't
first
remember that.
game. But then like I like moved on to bigger things 'cause my dad's like a huge gamer and stuff. So yeah, that's how I started.
Yeah, I guess one of my first games would have been that pinball game then on the Windows. I played that pinball. like, because my mom was a teacher. Well, both my parents were teachers, and so like I would go to the school that they taught at. They were never my teacher, thankfully. But I would after school, I would go to their classroom, or my mom's, because I was usually in my mom's school. They taught at different schools. I would go to my mom's classroom, and I'd have to sit there while she did like her lesson plans or like grading papers. And I was too little to like help her, so I would just be on the computer and I'd be like playing like pinball, not ping pong. But I played like a lot of video games before I got big into video games. Like I played on the PS1, PS2, Xbox, and Xbox 360. But it was when I got my own console, I think, was when I got really big into it. So I think like 2009, I got a Nintendo Wii. And like the first game that I played on the Wii, it came with this thing called Link's Crossbow Training. Y'all ever play that?
Heard
You
it.
literally,
Heard
like,
it, though.
It's literally just like targets come up on the screen, and you have to shoot the screen with the little crossbow that it comes with, and that's it. And there's like some like Legend of Zelda boss monsters in it. You just have to like, that's it. It's
Don't
just.
you still have that same Wii?
I do. I still have the
saw
same
it.
Wii.
I saw it and I was
It's-
like, whoa.
It still works perfectly. You could play we played Wii Sports still to this day, which was another big game. That was like one of my first games. But yeah, I think Link's Crossbow Training was one of like my first games that got me real big into it. Especially since it's so easy. Like you just point at the screen and shoot. It was a revolutionary idea.
You know
Instead
what's
of like
funny?
controller.
As y'all are like talking about like what your first game was, I feel like any interview that we've ever done with TAMUSA Esports, or I've done with TAMUSA Esports, whether it's like the podcast or like a stream or something like that, whenever y'all have asked me like, oh, how did you get into games? I say like, oh, my dad we would play on the PS2 and we would play horror games, stuff like that. But now that I'm listening to y'all like say that, I'm like, well, no, wait, I had a PC. Like before I had a PS2, I had a PC, but it wasn't connected to internet, and my parents would buy me like the disc games.
Yeah.
And it was like,
Mhm.
but like the thing was, I was like little, like I was like in elementary school when they gave me like this old PC that wasn't hooked up to the internet. They put it in my room for me to play with, and they got me the like kindergarten like learn things, like almost like ABC Mouse, but not ABC Mouse. You know what I mean?
Like
And then I had
yeah.
Barbie
Interesting.
Pet Rescue. That was the OG game for me. It was Barbie Pet Rescue and Solitaire.
Does Starfall count as a video game?
Starfall?
It's like
yeah.
this, it's like
I
this
feel like
website where you learn your letters and stuff. Like I was on Starfall when I was like 3 years old, like learning my letters and like,
Mine was literally ABC Mouse.
yeah.
You kind of talked about, you didn't get into gaming until later, right?
Yeah, I didn't get into gaming until I was 17 with Injustice 2. Like, I played a little bit of, like, Zelda or Mario with my uncles, but I didn't really get into, like what esports was until Injustice 2. That's when I was keeping up with, like, the FGC, all the big names then, and that kind of transferred over to, like, everything else.
That's crazy.
I can't believe you waited.
Well,
17?
Yeah, I wasn't allowed to have a console until I was 17.
Okay, Jerry, bro.
Wow.
So like,
Yeah.
You didn't play like cool math games or.
yeah. That's what I was kind of getting at.
I didn't know about that until I went to public school when I was 16.
Oh.
Yeah, I didn't know about cool math games.
John
until
and
then.
Tim
Yeah, I
always
was
talk
on-
about being sheltered or like on a leash. That's
Well, I didn't
That's
want
something
video
crazy.
games. That's the other thing too.
you weren't like
I wasn't-
You weren't like
I wasn't like
loser.
I was
didn't have
I wasn't like
friends.
I want games like mom. I want it. It was more like it didn't interest me.
Uh-huh.
I was more into like running.
going outside.
Yeah,
I was gonna say,
outside.
I was more into like
I
sports.
was thinking in my head, I was like, what would he do?
What?
I was like, oh wait, here, go outside.
What is there possible?
Why
Yeah,
would
no,
What else is
around
there
that
to
time
do
I
other
was,
than play
I
video
was
games?
playing basketball and then powerlifting. So I didn't have time for games. Even when I got my first console at 17, I'll play for like an hour and then be like, Dragon Ball Z is on.
Yeah.
I'll just get bored.
Yeah.
Dude, I mean, I played sports for a majority of my life, but I feel like I made time to play games.
Yeah.
Like,
I feel like this, yeah,
I
because
had
I did
to.
basketball in like
It was like
track or whatever in middle school and high school, but I still was
Like,
like,
I gotta
okay,
go play
it's time
game-
for Overwatch.
but-
Like,
Basketball practice got in the
Come on.
middle of my gaming time.
baseball. Like,
I
dude,
quit basketball
I know, it's
so
like-
I can
I
become
wanted
a pro.
to, my parents wouldn't let me.
I was like, damn.
R.I.P.
It's one of those things. Like, if you want to do it, you'll make time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
why sports was more for me.
Yeah.
That's cool though.
That's crazy.
Maybe that's why you're healthier than all of us.
Let's go. Second
Like-
5K coming soon.
Nice.
I tried to run a 5K once, and I made it like halfway through, and then I just collapsed. No, I didn't collapse. I just like walked the rest. Like I finished the race like 2 days later.
Said, Mom, I want to go home.
Yeah.
Call your mom.
Yeah.
Self-service.
Call my mom like I'm done with this. I ran like not even 1K.
Mom, pick me up. They're making me run.
It was CAG life. Were you ever in CAG life?
Oh, I know what you're talking
Yeah, you
about,
know-
but I never did it.
Oh, I did it once, and I was like, man, I suck at running.
Speaking of running, this is just off topic. How serious did y'all take the pacer test when you were younger?
Oh, I thought it was like,
I
Very
went to
serious.
Yeah.
private
It's
school.
very serious.
You didn't do the pacer test?
We didn't have to do the
What?
pacer test.
What?
Wow.
We were just.
That
it
was like the
pure
elementary
basketball.
school. That was a major event of the elementary school
It was like-
Olympics.
No, it was
Yeah.
basketball from elementary to 12th grade. All they had us doing was basketball.
if you were like the last kid running, you were like the coolest kid in like
That's
the
what I'm
whole
saying.
gym. Like,
I do remember that.
and it was never me.
A big
It was
phone.
There was no-
Dude, I feel like towards the end, people were freaking because it was kind of like based on an honor system. Like if you
Yeah.
didn't make it, you had to be like, okay, well, there it is. But people
Yeah.
were freaking lying. Cheaters. They're cheaters.
I know for me, I never got it past about 20 just because I didn't care past that point because I've got this thing with like my gut where it just starts. We call
Oh,
it
the
devil's
knot?
grip. Yeah, we call it the
Oh,
devil's
the
grip.
runner's
Because
grip.
after a while, it just
Yeah.
like clenches
Runner's
down
grip.
and just hurts.
That's when you
so
gotta
I would,
breathe.
I would always duck out at number
I got-
20.
I
But
got
I
it
had this
here.
one classmate. His name was like Freitag or whatever. He would always get to like 130 minimum. Kid
Yeah.
was insane. I don't know how he did it, but he kept going. Now he's going to college for basketball, I think.
No.
Makes sense.
I guess back to getting to the
Back to
original
video
topics.
games.
Back to the video
Video
games
games.
because physical exercise is not fun. I guess in the other podcast we kind of talked about how the teams got into esports and like how they chose like their specific game. But I guess for you guys, like what made you want to get into content creation?
I mean, I could go first.
Yeah, of course.
So like, I really like playing Magic the Gathering, right? Like, or right? No. But so
Right.
Tim
Right.
knows that.
I know.
But like
It's
for
fun.
everybody else, I really like playing Magic the Gathering. And so when the whole like COVID thing happened, before that, I used to go to these stores where there's just a bunch of tables, and you just go play with like other nerds. Like you can be in like tournaments, or you could just play for fun, like in little groups of 4 or whatever. But after that, I had to kind of just resort to playing online. Well, I don't want to say resort because a lot of people play online even like without COVID. Like,
Yeah.
But I was like, well, I can't go to the store, so I'll play online. The thing about playing online is it costs real money, just like buying real cards. So I was like, like, is it worth it? And I was like, yeah, it's worth it because I get my like, I don't want to say fix, but you know what I'm saying. But I get to play when I haven't played in like months.
Yeah.
And so they do this thing online where you can buy 3 packs, and then you're with 7 other people, so it's 8 people, and you like toss them all around. You open your first pack, you take a card, toss the rest, and just repeat the process
Until
until you
a deck.
have like your little
What's
stack
a-
of cards, and you make a deck with the cards that you
There's
have.
like, I remember David had like when we were little, we were supposed to go to some Magic tournaments to
Yeah.
do that, but our parents wouldn't let us because we were like 9.
Yeah,
We would have been going with like
that's
20,
true. Yeah, the
30-year-old
people there
people.
are kind of old and
Yeah.
sweaty. But like,
Not incorrect.
I guess where I'm going is a lot of the things that I would watch on YouTube and Twitch and stuff were streamers that would play constructed decks or do the drafts. And I didn't have the money to make constructed decks because they can literally cost like hundreds of dollars. So I was like, well, I'll drop like the $10 on doing a draft. And I was like, well, I like watching people stream drafts, so I was like, I'll stream my drafts. So for a little while, I would stream a draft like every week, and like I actually got like a tiny audience of like 5 people that would regularly watch it. And they would like be in the comments, and they would be like, pick this card, and like, you know what I mean? It was fun. And then that was really it. I was like, I couldn't tell you why I stopped. I just stopped. I think I just got busy. Because then like I had to start applying for college, and then I was actually
Streaming
in
kind of
college.
takes a lot more energy than people think.
It does. It's not
Like,
just
it's
like
not just turning on a camera and doing whatever.
Yeah,
Like, it
it's-
takes a lot of energy out of you.
it kind of does. Like it's like a job.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I don't know. Like you watch streamers and you're like, oh, this streamer makes like all this money and all he has to do is play video games. Like,
I guess to interact with
I
chat.
was gonna say,
and I
not
feel like
really. It's not that's all.
That's
it's
the
not
hard-
like
if
you
you
can
wanna
just
be-
sit there and play games. Like sometimes I sit there and I play games, and I'm just like, it's almost like a relaxation. Like I turn my brain off, and I'm just
Yeah.
like, I'm playing games. But when you stream, it's like you recognize like, oh, people are there to watch me.
Yeah, you have to be
And
like
so you
a
have to be like reactive and be like a little over the top almost.
like a character
Yeah.
kind of.
Yeah.
It's like when people tune into your stream to watch you, it's not literally you like just playing games. Like you tune into a stream and they're just silent playing the game. Even if they're really good at it, you're just like, this is boring.
It's almost like they.
Yeah.
I think a lot of like streamers and content creators say this. It's like not like an uncommon thing where people come to your stream for you, not what you're doing.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of the times the game doesn't even matter. Like whatever
Yeah.
you're playing, they just kind of, some people just really like your personality and they just want
Just want to hang
to,
out.
yeah,
Yeah,
and
they
then
just wanna
hopefully
see-
they can put a little comment in the chat. Maybe you'll
Maybe you'll
notice
see it.
them or something. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
That's like the fun part about watching streams. So I don't know. I guess when I got here, why I did content crew is because I wanted to be on the team, and then Travis was like, well, I kind of like
Your
Your
personality fit.
personality. He was like,
Yeah.
would you want to like cast a game with Trey? And he was like talking to me. And he was like, you should do it. And I was like, okay. So I did it. I was casting with Trey.
Nah.
Trey, do you want to talk about it now?
Yeah, you wanna-
So how I got into content creation. It's more of a funny story. I would play games regularly with my friends back in middle school and high school, and a lot of the times things very unfortunately happened to me, and they would say, "There's no way that would happen to you," because I would explain it to them, and it was just so far fetched they would never believe me. So I got to the concept of recording or just streaming it, so I had solid evidence against these people that always call me out,
Mhm.
and eventually they're just like, "Trey, I think you're cursed." So
Wait, like things would happen to you in game?
yes, in game that would just never
That's like
happen.
that's impossible.
Do you
Yeah.
remember one? Like
So,
He's like, why'd you have to ask?
yeah, I know. He's like,
I would play Overwatch a lot, and I once had the game crash, reset. I spawned above the map, and I couldn't do anything.
What?
Yeah, and it wasn't a moment I had recorded. So that
Oh.
was a sad part.
yeah.
So that was the main thing.
No proof didn't happen.
No proof
Yeah.
didn't happen.
No pics for proof.
Uh-huh.
Uh-huh. Yep.
John.
All right, now everyone's looking at me. So one of the biggest things I think that got me into the idea that not only could content creation be something I could pursue and kind of follow, but also something that I was interested in, I want to say was Skyda's Minecraft. And
Oh,
watching
yeah.
him do,
Yeah.
watching him do like the Hunger Games stuff, watching him do prison stuff, and just the adventure maps. And I was like, that looks like fun. And that's what got me into like Minecraft. But then I realized he was getting paid to do it, and I was like, huh. So at the time, I think I had just gotten like a Minecraft account and whatnot. This was like when 1.8 had just come out, and Twitch at the time still had an integration with Minecraft where you could just press the button and it would go right to Twitch. There wasn't anything else, and it doesn't exist anymore. But I do remember when that feature existed, I would just press that button, I'd go live, and at a certain point, I think I would rack up, I want to say like 20 or so people who would consistently come through, and we'd just play on Mindplex. We'd just do mini games. And that idea of bringing in like a community, do one thing, be able to react and just have fun while being like 13 or whatever, I had a blast, and I think that's the biggest thing that got me into the whole content creation thing. And then I did some minor editing of just like family videos on like the Windows Movie Maker, and then I realized, I can slap videos together. So then I started doing that too when it came to like my Valorant clips and Counter-Strike clips. It was like last year or whatever. So
Nice.
I had a lot of fun with that. That was all good.
Well, besides y'all being like, oh, I'm interested in streaming this, and ironically, I was not really interested in streaming. I was just like, my brother does this. Why can't I? So, like, I saw the poster walking to my programming class. It's like, content crew, be on the esports today, or whatever.
Mhm.
And I was just like, yeah,
I
we
saw your
Makes sense.
tweet about that.
we ball, we do it.
Yeah.
So here I am. And genuinely, like, as I keep like streaming slowly, I'm like, you know what? Maybe this is something I do want to do. Maybe as a hobby, not like a
Yeah.
full-time job.
I mean, I do it as a hobby. It's not like I plan to.
Mm.
100 Thieves, please. I'm begging. Not joking.
But like, yeah,
really.
eventually.
I'm not
I'm
joking.
starting to like,
Nice.
I think kind of going back to what Mark and John were saying about like having your own little community. I remember back in the summer when we did our charity stream. I had played our Resident Evil 4, right?
Yeah, I told you to play that one.
And
That's what
I think in my
That's what
stream
I'm saying.
S tier game.
in my stream normally, I mean, I feel like I get maybe like 2 to 3 people, but and it's the same people, and it's usually just like 2 or 3 of my friends. But this one random person came in, and I was playing the game, and he just knew all of these like little like in-game hacks, and I had never played the game before. And I guess there's this part where this giant like monster comes out of this cave to attack you, and
Gigante. It means giant.
Oh,
Oh,
Gigante. Yeah, okay.
yeah, no. So
That's
he was like, yeah, before you go over there, make sure you buy a rocket launcher and then shoot him in the
Yeah.
kneecap. And I was like, what? And he's like, aim for the knee. It'll one-shot him. And I was like, dude, this guy's trolling me.
Yeah.
But heck it, I'm going to do it anyways. And it one-shot him, and I was like, what is this
That's the
game?
hack
What?
I used
And
when I
this guy,
streamed it.
and this guy.
When I was playing, I had like a sniper, and I would like shoot him in the face, and he gets stunned, and you have to go on his back.
Yeah,
and,
no,
like,
with the giants, it's literally like I stay strapped with a rocket launcher in RE4 because
Ah.
they're literally
But yeah,
you
no.
don't even have to aim. Like he
Yeah.
said, you have to aim at the kneecap. You literally, as
It's
long as
just
you
one
shoot
shots?
it in their general direction,
Yeah, just one-shot him.
it's literally
just-
one shot.
it
It
cut
literally,
this- it
I
cut
don't
to
even
the
think
next
it shows
screen.
you actually shooting them. You aim in their general direction, you shoot, and it just goes to the cutscene immediately of them
Yep.
dying.
Wow.
So no, yeah, so that I had sat in my stream or whatever playing for like the 2-hour block that I had signed up for, and for the next like 3 days, that guy sat in my stream and just coached me through the game.
Oh, that's cool.
But
It's funny that I feel like I've streamed Resident Evil, like different Resident Evils, throughout like the 2 years that I have been streaming, and every single time I play Resident Evil, there's like huge Resident Evil fans that come into chat and they like know obscure facts and like
Yeah.
tips and things to just know about.
They're
the
like, go in that house in the corner upstairs and look at the bookshelf, and you're like,
game. You're
what?
you're like, oh, there's
The
a gun
Resident-
here.
The Resident Evil community is crazy. Like,
Yeah,
even
they're-
the speedruns
Yeah.
are insane.
Yeah.
It's actually insane. And like I kind of get it though, because every single time I've played different Resident Evils multiple times, and I can play it again and still find something new inside the game.
Yeah.
So I see why that there's
Mhm.
these people that are like, I know these really obscure facts about every single Resident Evil possible, because it's like there's just so much to every single game that you can keep playing it over and over again.
I know for me personally, I like doing that with Prey, the 2016 one. Is I've got like in Twitch, I've got that as one of my 2 followed games. And if I see someone who's streaming it, they've got like 3 followers or whatever, I'll pop in there and I'll just be like, hey, by the way, there's a shotgun over here. You might want that for the next room.
Yeah.
And they're just like,
They're
"Huh?"
just like,
what?
oh.
They're just like, yeah, use the glue cannon. Get up there. Go. You got it. I'm not gonna tell you what's around the corner though, but you're gonna need that shotgun.
I guess Trisha had kind of talked about it, about her finding out about the content crew. But how did the rest of y'all find out about it? Was it just y'all talked to our former coach Travis, or really?
I would have to say yes.
Yeah.
I was sort of just sat down. I think it was Travis and Anna. Kind of came unexpectedly. They said, we have an idea, so we kind of have enough supports for Overwatch for this season. We were wondering if you wanted to cast Overwatch. And I was like, seems interesting. I'll try it. Don't see why not. Yeah. So
Have you liked it so far?
Basically,
I do
how
like it. Yes, I
Okay.
do like it.
I don't. I'm
What
just
do you
making
mean,
sure.
no, I hate
We're just
it.
like, hey Trey, start casting.
I mean, I haven't cast a game yet this semester, unfortunately. But
Unfortunately.
it'll happen, hopefully.
Nice.
What?
Yeah.
Well, looking at you, Mark.
What are we looking at me for?
I don't know.
How did like y'all two find out about the content?
Oh,
Because like
yeah.
as for me
same
and
thing.
Joey, it's not like we found the content. We found
No,
it.
they
We
found
found
it.
crew.
They
We didn't
created
find
it.
the
Yeah,
content crew.
I mean, yeah, it was the same thing. It was like Travis. I don't know how it came up though. I don't remember. I think I was just telling Travis that like I wanted to do something with the esports team, but he was like, "Well, like what would you want to play?" And he was telling me about tryouts and stuff, and I was like, "I'm gonna be real. I'm not really that good at any of the games." I mean, I picked Overwatch because I played esports at St. Mary's first, and their games at the time were Fortnite, Rainbow Six, Overwatch, and League of Legends. Right? I was like, Never played League of Legends.
Smart man.
Rainbow Six. Well, I have now, but at the time I haven't. It sucks.
It does.
Rainbow Six.
Not fun.
I played Rainbow Six like all of high school. Stopped. And so at that time, I had been out of the game for like a year and a half, and like 6 operators already came out while I wasn't. And so I looked at them and I was like, "What is this?" It's just it's like not the same game.
No,
and, like,
yeah.
every map got reworked and like all this stuff. I was like, well, I have to relearn the whole game. I was like, I don't want to play Rainbow Six. And then Fortnite, I suck at Fortnite. I'm sorry, Fortnite's hard.
I've had literally one experience. Well, I guess 2 experiences, but they're both the same. And like my little brother went through like his little Fortnite phase where he was obsessed with it, with every other like 9 and 10-year-old on the planet.
Yeah.
And so he was like, "Hey Tim, like you should try playing Fortnite again." And so I played it one time, and I shot at, I feel like it had to see some cracked out 10-year-old that literally I shot one bullet at him, and he built the entire Taj Mahal in like 5 seconds.
Yeah.
Just going up. And I just sat there watching him go up, and I was like, all right. And then I closed the game out. I didn't even continue to play it. I closed the game out. I closed the game out and uninstalled it. And I was like, I'm not playing this. I can't. Look, the shooting part is some skill, but I feel like all the skill is in building, and if you can't build, the game's not fun.
That's why once people started learning how to build, like not only like a little basic square with like a ramp, but like
people edit your builds while you're building. It's like, oh, I can't keep up. I'm too old.
Yeah, so but
I'm not cranking 90s.
So that like only left Overwatch, and I was like, well, I played Overwatch a lot, so like Overwatch at that time I hadn't played in a while either. But the only difference from like last time I played to the like current was like Baptiste came out. Like that was it. That was the only thing. And like Baptiste is not that hard to figure out. Oh, and they like reworked Torbjorn. But that was it. Yeah, a little bit. So that was it. So I was like, well, I'll play Overwatch because I actually kind of know how to play that game, and it doesn't seem hard to learn. And like back when I used to play Overwatch, before then, I was like a Zenyatta main, and so I was like, yeah. So I was like, I'll try out as a support then, because like I remember I used to play Zenyatta. That's a support, right? Like, you know what I mean? I was just trying out just because I wanted to have fun. That was it. And I actually got on, and I was surprised. I was like, "Why'd you take me?" I was like, "I'm not even that good." And they're like, "Yeah, but you have like a good attitude, so you can."
Keep going.
Yeah, I was like, "Oh, okay."
I feel like that's a lot of people don't realize that because like even for me and Travis, like people come to us and they're like, "We're not very good." Like I'm just trying out for the team, just for the fun of it.
Yeah.
Like they don't expect to actually get on the team. Then they get on the team and they're like, "Oh, I didn't think I'd make it this far."
Yeah.
But like I think like a lot about recruiting is more about like you'd rather have someone that has good communication, good attitude, and is like willing to learn over someone who's like cracked out of their mind, but like may have an ego. And,
a solo player. Yeah, not
player,
a team.
Not a team player.
Yeah.
So it's easier to work with lower level that has like the right attitude than like a high level that is just like solo dolo kind of thing.
Yeah, like Travis and Kaylin would say they're looking for people that are coachable.
Yeah.
That's what they said. And I was like, yeah, that makes sense. And it worked. Because like I go in and I'm like low silver, and like currently I'm like high gold, which is not that impressive, but like that's a big jump.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I guess it worked. And so that's why I chose Overwatch. And then I came here, I was like, can I do Overwatch? They're like, not
we
yet.
We have a lot of support.
Yeah, we have a lot.
I think that's what it is.
That's
like Overwatch for us, both you and Trey know it. Like there's a lot of people on the Overwatch team, and like support itself is pretty stacked. So it's like bringing on another support.
I was gonna say we have like 5 right now.
Yeah, bringing on another support, like you wouldn't get playtime or like just even quality time with the team. That's
kind of what Travis was kind of getting at. So he like comes up to me and he's like, I'm gonna be honest, you're probably not gonna see that much playtime. He's like basically saying like he wouldn't have a problem with putting me on the team, but
it's not like
you wouldn't really play that much.
But it wouldn't. Yeah, he was like, I don't want you to have a bad time because you would pretty much almost never see playtime. He was like, so instead, why don't you try this? And I was like, yeah, sure, why not? Because he was like, you could be the color commentator.
The color
yeah, he was like, you could be like the
For those that don't know on this podcast,
Oh, yeah.
whenever there's a difference between a streamer and we probably should have said this before.
Yeah.
With the content crew, there's as of right now, there's two different kind of areas like streaming. At least for Twitch, there's streaming, which is like casual players like Trisha who play just for the fun of it. They're there for us to watch and see her
Play video games.
play video games. And then there's casters who are a little bit more serious and they actually stream our official gameplay matches that we play against other schools. And Trey is a play-by-play commentator who actually can call strategies and gameplay as it's happening. And Mark is what we call a color commentator who brings a little bit more life to the game. They're the ones I always I don't want to say make fun of, but make fun of the VCT commentators. Where they're defusing the bomb in Valorant.
Oh my god, he's defusing
They obviously are gonna get it, they have time. But they're the commentators over here will he get it? Oh my god, it's so close! And they're just chilling it's literally to just bring life to the game.
Yeah, that's a huge thing from Counter-Strike especially. I see that coming over to the VCT. Because in Counter-Strike, you had to guess when those 10 seconds were. I'm so glad that Valorant has the giant circle that'll
second
come
circle.
in. Because if someone starts defusing after that, the commentators
You're
can just get out of there. They're not getting it.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's pretty much what Mark does for Overwatch. He's there to be over dramatic and a little annoying, but for the fun of it.
How I am outside of casting. Yeah.
So why not?
Yeah.
Wait, should me and Joey talk about how we got into
Well, how I got into streaming, it's pretty short and sweet. I was helping out esports fall 2019 when we first fall 2020 when we first for everything first started, and then Anna and Travis, the former head coach, was like, "Hey, we think you'll be good at streaming." So spring 21 was my first streams, and they were rough at first, really quick.
They would go in 3 minutes.
Yeah, 3 to 5 minutes. But after a while, I kind of got into the groove, streaming for 3 to 6 hours at a time, and that's how I got into streaming. I didn't know much about streaming beforehand. I never watched Twitch.
And that's pretty much how you got streaming and the content crew for you was hand in hand. For me, I think I started streaming actually when the pandemic hit. I always talk to my friends where I think I had my Twitch channel 2 years before I actually started streaming. I made it to stream, but it took me 2 years to actually start streaming because I always talked about horror games or Overwatch with my friends who weren't gamers. They didn't play games themselves, and they were well, we want to watch you play. You always sound so excited when you talk about video games. Why don't you show us, and why don't you stream it? And so I made a Twitch channel, was way too scared, and also I had the worst Dell laptop known to man. Just I did not have a PC. And then I finally got a PC and just didn't stream. But it was the pandemic where I literally was locked up in my house for hours on end, and I just had nothing to do. So I was well, I have a PC now. I have, the money to buy a webcam and a mic and all this stuff. Let me just go ahead and stream. And actually, I think even my first streams didn't have I had the worst mic in headphone mic thing, and I didn't even have a webcam. But I would stream horror games all the time, and that's pretty much how I got into streaming. And I think I had maybe 2 viewers. It was maybe my close friends. Now it's kind of nerve-wracking because I have 10 people watch me at once, just absolutely whiff in Valorant.
That's 20 whole lives.
That's 20 whole. John, you're making it more nervous. I mauled so much whenever I stream Valorant. But as for the content crew, me and Joey actually founded the content crew. It's not I found the I was ooh, there was a content crew at TAMUSA. We actually created it because, for people that don't know, I'm a marketing major, and the whole reason I didn't get into esports as a competitive player, it's not I came in and was I want to be on the Val team, or I want to be on the Overwatch team. I got into esports and I became Travis's assistant because I liked the back end stuff of esports. I liked the marketing of esports. So I liked doing graphic design, I liked doing video editing, I liked doing streaming, and that's how I got into esports. So I think after a year of actually having a competitive team, or a semester of having a competitive team, I went to Travis and was hey, can we get streamers in the mix over here? Can I start doing as he manage the competitive teams, I was like, I kind of want to manage a content crew because that's more my area rather than coaching a competitive team. So from that, we kind of actually started up the whole content crew. And from here, I kind of hope it just gets bigger and bigger.
That reminded me that like my first couple of streams was literally also on a laptop. I didn't have a webcam, I didn't have a mic, I didn't have anything. I just had headphones. So I'd plug my headphones in and I would listen to like the game. I'd use the built-in webcam on my laptop and the built-in webcam mic on my laptop.
Oh no!
I would sit like crisscross on my bed. I'd put the laptop right in front of me and I'd be like, I don't play Magic. People would still watch.
Magic
Time to play Magic.
on his bed, crisscross.
Yeah, literally crisscross
Yeah,
on
no,
my bed.
I had the worst Dell laptop. Like, I think I got it for maybe $500 because it was like they had brand new Dell laptops going like up for sale, and so they were selling the old like out of date ones on like cheap. So I was like, okay, I'll get that one. And so I was like running Streamlabs and like gaming and stuff like that on this like terrible Dell laptop. Ripped that thing.
That
My nephew spilled tea all over it. So
Rip
the original
forever.
setup.
I feel like I would stream. Like I want to stream more on like when I'm at home, but my PC has definitely seen brighter days.
My Dell laptop is better than your
It probably is. Like I'm not gonna lie. For whatever reason, whenever I stream, my ping like spikes to 80, and then my frames start dropping, and it's just operating on one leg. I'm lucky if it just operates in general.
Probably need a better processor.
I need to do everything.
Probably better.
I just need a new PC to be honest.
Yeah.
Please, we'll
NZXT,
leave a GoFundMe
please.
link.
Go
In
fuck
the
it for
description.
Okay. All right. I'm not that bad.
100 Thieves, please.
Please.
And then for me, I know that my introduction to like the streaming content crew here at TAMUSA was actually Joey's streams over the summer. I remember I had just been, I'm gonna call it scouted by Travis because I kind of poked down to the campus over spring break, and he said, you know, content would be good, team would be good, and overall I think I ended up going with the content side of it because I realized last semester as I started like streaming my Valorant games as I climbed from Platinum to Diamond 3, I was like, hey, this is a lot of fun, and I've always liked being in front of the camera. I've liked editing videos, so just making that step now under Joey's wing has been a very good step for me. I've liked that a lot.
Nice. I think Anna had kind of talked about it earlier about like stream personas, and along with that, so far I've asked every team, how did your gamer tag or IGN, how was that created? But
Do y'all have persona? Is that what you're getting at? Do we have personas?
yeah,
on
like
camera?
I mean, I feel like
I have a different person.
Joey is definitely like
I think you're more. Not that you're more upbeat. I feel like your personality is the same, but like slightly different. From
I have
stream
to-
in person.
I will say I have to flip a switch.
I was gonna say
No,
you
I
literally flip
definitely,
a switch as
yeah.
soon as you go live. Like everything's quiet, you go live.
It's
You're like, hey, what's everybody?
Yeah,
doing?
he
It turns
yells.
out-
I
It
have to, like-
scares me because it'll be quiet and then he's, hey everybody, what's going on? I was like,
You're just
"Huh?"
like, oh my god.
Yeah,
Oh my
like I have to.
If you're not ready.
There's a whole, and I won't get into it, but there's a whole like pre-ritual stream that I
No,
do.
yeah,
before
I have a
every
ritual.
single stream. I have to like zen out and then just get it right into it.
I feel like I don't have a pre-ritual like thing
Mhm.
to get ready for my streams. It's more like I have to do an intro. So
Mhm.
like if I play like Valorant or Minecraft, something that is like I don't like plan to make a VOD of afterwards. I just play it, and it's kind of just like, oh, I'll talk to chat, I'll talk to friends in Discord, like whatever. But if it's like a horror game or something that I plan to make a VOD of afterwards and put it on YouTube, I have to do an intro because it's almost like it switches my brain into like streamer mode. Like I have to be like, welcome back everybody to my channel. And, like I have to do this stuff, and like I have to do an
Mine is,
outro
like-
so that like while I'm playing games, it's almost like my brain switches on and it's like, oh, she's in streamer mode. Like I have to like react to my gameplay. I have to like do certain things. I have to like look at chat and like interact like constantly to actually like be a streamer kind of thing. It's like a weird mental that I
Mine
go
is like
into.
a whole 10-minute setup. Like 10
Mine-
minutes
mine
before
is-
stream,
Mine
I
is
have
really
to
just like,
set up.
welcome everybody to my
Awesome.
channel. Today we're gonna be playing, and then it's like my brain is just automatically on from then on.
I was gonna say that's how like it was with like me and Trey. Like Trey knows like not even 10 minutes, like 30 minutes before the stream, we would write like all the information about the enemy team on like a little note. We'd put it under the monitor, and we would like get ready. We would do like our whole thing before the stream even started. Like me and Trey like fake looking at the camera, hey, blah blah blah, blah. And then we'd be like, okay, yeah, we can go now.
I'm
And
pretty sure
we would turn it
casting
on.
is different.
Yeah.
I've never casted, but I mean, like, it's more professional, I would say, or like a lot more goes into it because you
More
have to know.
structured.
Yeah, it's more
Yeah.
structured. Like, you have to know what's going on, who are you playing against, and you even have to know like what's going on with like your actual team. Like, I'm pretty sure y'all have to know like the strats or even just like what the lineup is and things like that, like what
Yep.
comp they would play.
Yeah.
Like, as for streamers, I feel like it's definitely way more casual. So it's not surprising that y'all's ritual is like
Yeah.
30 minutes minimum.
Cause yeah, we would like know everybody that was gonna play that day, and then know like the other school that we were playing against, like, and obviously what tournament it was, what week of the tournament it was, like what maps we were gonna play on, and like stuff like that. And then it would actually go into it, and we would have to like say all of that, and then get ready. And then Trey would like sit into their practices so we know what they're gonna do, so we have like an idea what they're already gonna do, so we don't really have to focus on what they're doing, because we could say like, oh, our team likes to do this, and then we could like focus on how they're reacting to the enemy team and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's kind of like it kind of was like this whole process, and then
It's like
Joey
a whole
helped a lot.
production.
Yes.
Joey. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah, with streamers, it's just like it's way more casual. I don't have like a ritual or 10-minute ritual that goes into it. I just jump into it. Like when I first started streaming, it was like awkward because like I don't do this, you know?
Yeah.
And
Mhm.
then I started getting some of my friends involved because it's like I'm louder if I'm talking with friends. So now I scream. But we're having a good time. So yeah, when it comes to the name, how I got my name.
What's your name?
We just don't
Am
say
I allowed to
What's-
say it?
Sure. I like how
Okay.
everybody looks
So
at
my
me.
streamer
Yeah.
name,
I'm not
my
gonna make that
online
call.
name is Djibouti. So a sweet short like story. Just once upon a time, I needed an Xbox gamer tag. That's all you need to
That's-
know for now.
Xbox is like that's all you gotta know.
That's all you
Yeah,
got.
that's
Yeah,
all you
that's from
gotta
Xbox.
know.
Yeah.
Where'd you get your gamer tag? Xbox.
Oh, brother.
Enough.
That's
Say
all
less.
you need to know.
That's where you stop.
That's the origin of my name. The short version. Anyways. How did you get your name?
How did I get my name?
Yeah.
Mine has like the most boring story behind it. It was a Minecraft account that one of my neighbors had that he let me use. It was a PC Minecraft account because I was trying to get into PC and whatnot. And the name of that account was Zombie2828. So eventually he changed the password to that account. So whenever I got my own account, I was like, I like that name, Zombie2828 2, because I have zero creativity in the second version of that account. So I was like, that's it. And that was my gamer tag from like when I was 12 until like 4 months ago. Like it has just been my gamer tag for the longest time. Every website I would use it, every game I would use it, that was it. I was Zombie or I was Zombie2828 2. It only changed recently because of this one, I'm going to call him a comfort streamer. He's just a variety streamer that he interacts with chat like nobody's business. He's crazy. But I was watching him, and every time I'd pop in, he'd call me Zombies. And I was like, that's kind of neat. I want to change my name to that. So I checked if it was available anywhere, and of course, no. So my next logical step was, well, the internet's kind of obsessed with frogs and bees right now. So I'm just going to change my name to Zombees. So now it's Zombees. And that's my name right now.
Alright.
And then as for like a pre-stream ritual, I've got one thing that I have to do, and that's put music on during the intro when it's like the coming
Like the
to stream or
starting
whatnot. I
scene or
have to have
whatever.
music going. I have to have it loud, and then when I start the stream, I turn the music down. And then if I'm doing like a Valorant stream, I will always have my aim lab in like a small screen on the screen. So I'll be doing grid shot or whatever for like 10 minutes while I've got music blasting, and everyone can see that. I'll make sure chat comes in, and then when I'm ready, I'll switch it over. Music goes, and everyone's there already. That's
Nice.
been good.
Do you know what's funny? You don't look like a John. Like
I
in my
don't.
mind,
I hate it.
You don't look like. But the thing is, like, so you look more like a Moses. But
Mhm.
even then, to me, you look like a zombie. Like,
Yeah,
Like,
no,
oh,
I
that's
get that,
not-
I get
like
that.
that's
You don't
hey,
get
sleep. I
oh,
actually
yeah, my
call him
friend's
zombie.
The thing about like my actual name is the way that I've introduced myself to like people who I know are gonna be like my mess around friends is I've introduced myself as, you know, hi, my name is John Francis Moses, 2 saints and a prophet, and I hate my name. That's been it every single time because my family's super religious, so of course, you know, my first name comes from my grandfather because that was passed down that way. My middle name comes from my uncle, so it's passed down that way, and then Moses, you know, last name. But it's 2 saints and a prophet, so I was like, that's a funny introduction. And John is so common, if I hear the name Josh, even in like a mall, I'll turn around and then go, that wasn't me, and turn back and just walk the other way.
It's funny.
It's crazy.
I don't know how I got my gamer tag is different than my stream name.
Mhm.
Like Anna Els is my like Twitch name, and I feel like that's the one I like the most is Anna Els. It's like all of my social media, my Twitch,
It's your branding.
and branding.
That's
It's
what matters.
branding. And then my gamer tags, I think for Overwatch, it's funny because I have 2 jerseys with both like gamer tags. My first jersey, which this was back when I like the only competitive game I played was Overwatch, and my Overwatch game tag was PinkPunk98. And Pink Punk was actually, it comes from Blackpink, the K-pop group. And I really liked Blackpink, so Pink, like, I think their original name before they were Blackpink was Pink Punk. And I liked it, and I was like, I'm gonna use it. And then I used that name when I played Valorant. So for the first, like, few months of playing Valorant, I was Pink Punk. But I think we were joking around one day, and we just decided to change our gamer tags to like an anime, like whatever
They
favorite.
gave you
anime we
a
had.
buff. Like
He's Giyu now, but my second jersey has Kira on it, and Kira is actually from Death Note. It's one of my favorite animes. And not to get into it, but it's funny.
It's from JoJo.
Anyway.
That was a joke.
What a
Anyway,
bad
it's from Death Note. Anyway, funnily enough, whenever I changed from Pink Punk to Kira in Valorant, I noticed my teammates were way more respectful to me. Not to get into it, but like literally, like Tim was there. Like we played one game with me as Pink Punk, and
everybody would flame her.
everyone, if I whiffed one shot, everyone would flame me. And then we switched our gamer tags and we played one more game for the night as Kira, and everyone was so much nicer to me. It was
Dang,
actually
makes a big difference.
It was a big difference. Like Tim can actually vouch for it. Like it was a big difference in like attitude. Kind of crazy,
It's
right?
kind of nuts.
Tim's podcast tackling societal issues.
Exactly. Right here, you see it all.
My gamer tag. I don't know if I've ever told y'all like the backstory of Eclipsy. So I went. What was it, like 5 or 6 years ago? I went to play laser tag with some friends, and you needed to put like a name down. And I didn't have a name. I wasn't a gamer at the time.
Yeah.
So they had a list of like random words.
I remember
One
that.
of them was Eclipse, like regularly spelled Eclipse. I was like, I'll choose that one, Mr. Sir. And he put it down. And I fragged out. I didn't know what fragging was at the time, but like I dropped like 15. I was probably leading.
Who's your KD?
Good.
Doesn't matter.
I didn't know what that was. So we played like 2 games after that, and I used Eclipse, and I just got like I don't know how to say it in PG terms, but I got those kids. So I was
Nominated?
yeah, there we go. And then as time went on, I changed the C to a K to be edgy, and then I added a Y.
Emo phase of your gamer.
And then I was like, well, let me be different, Eclipsy. And then I added 264 because I just like the numbers 264. And then I was like, I don't like the numbers anymore, so I added. I was gonna do Eclipsy, but on Twitch it was taken, which made no sense because no one has that name. Even after searching it up, there was no Eclipsy. Whatever. So I added an extra Y, and now it's Eclipsy with 2 Ys.
I
That's
feel
why.
embarrassed to admit that I had no idea that the root word of Eclipsy was eclipse. Like
That was
I thought
the
that
root
was
word.
your own word. Like I just
It's his
thought, I
own
was-
language.
I just thought Joey made that word. Like I was like,
No.
I don't know what Eclipsy is, but that sounds awesome. And I was like, well, no wonder because it's an
It comes
eclipse.
from Eclipse.
Eclipse is a cool word.
I
Yeah.
remember butchering the pronunciation as epilepsy.
Yeah, there's epilepsy, Eclipsey or
Cut.
yeah, it was just like and people like they look at it, they're like, how do you say that? And then when I say it, they're like, oh, that makes sense.
Oh, that makes sense.
I'm like,
That's why I
sound it out.
changed mine.
I mean,
From
Yimit?
Yimit, from
From-
Timmy
oh,
backward, Timmy spelled backwards
Wymit?
to Giyu
I
because
like Yimit.
I think everybody liked it, but I felt bad everybody struggled. to
I
say it.
didn't.
They're all like,
They're
is it
struggling.
Yimit?
Is it Wymite?
Why
Why
Why is there
Wymit?
2 T's?
Wymit?
Because one T was taken, so you have to put 2.
I mean,
But-
so I'm kind of like, and I have 2 names because like I have my Xbox name, and then like my current name. So also, I mean, none of them are bad. So I'll just tell the story. So like so it's funny when people call like Moses, whenever they call you, like whenever they're like, hey zombie, right? I actually kind of instinctively turn around because my old gamer tag was Zombie Einstein.
That's where that comes from Clash?
Yes, that was my old gamer tag. That's my
Clash Royale.
That's my
I throw my phone across
the. See, I had it in like middle school all the way up to like high school. I only changed it when I came to college. Like the whole like Mark Gart thing is very recent, and I only got it from like when I first made my Instagram account. I was like, well, I want my Instagram name to be like my name. You know, it's like easier to find me or whatever. I don't want it to be
That's
some like
kind of how I got Anna L's.
yeah, right.
Yeah.
So I wanted my Instagram name to be my name, but I didn't want it to be like Marcus Garcia or like Marcus_ Garcia. You know, I didn't want it to be something like lame. So I was like, what can I do with my name that would make it sound silly, but it's still my name? I was like, take off the 2 letters from the back of them, and it's like a repeating sound, Mark Gart. I was like, that's catchy.
It's kind of funny.
It's
Mark
funny
Gart.
and it's catchy. So that's how I got my current name. But like the old name, I'm literally like 11, sitting there, and you just boot up your Xbox for the first time, and it gives you that like default name.
Yep.
I don't even remember what mine was.
I remember.
It was something like I don't even know. I couldn't even tell you because I
They're
didn't-
so random.
Yeah, they were random.
Mine
It's like,
was like joke or something.
so-
Mine was
you get
yeah.
2 random words and like a number.
yes, and like 3 numbers.
Yeah, you get like 2 random words and a number, and that's your like
I have a story.
default gamer tag.
I have a story.
And so I thought all gamers in the whole world, their gamer tag had to be 2 random words, and then because I thought
Everybody's is.
that was like the formula. That's like what Xbox gives you. So I was like, oh, okay. So if I want to be a gamer, my name has to be
I want to be
2 random words and a number. So I was like, So I remember asking my dad. So my dad's sitting there. I'm setting up my Xbox. He was like, "Oh, you got it?" Because he got it for me. Obviously, it was for like Christmas or something. He was like, "Oh, is it working? How is it?" I was like, "I have to make a name."
just stressed.
Yeah, I just thought I was like,
it's
I'm
the
just staring
most
at the screen. I'm
stressful
like,
part.
"There's so much pressure." It's
There
like
is.
this, like
This is what you will be known by.
this is what you'll be known
You
as.
have one free change
for,
and
like,
it's
the rest of the-
$10.
Yeah.
after
Only
that.
one shot.
I think that's why I'm kind of upset I don't have Anna L's on a jersey, but I have Pink Pumpkin Kira. Like,
Yeah.
I wish it was Anna L's.
So, just a quick story because I did have a gamer tag before Eclipsey when I was like 10. I forgot about it.
Yeah.
So I have 2 other gamer tags. One of them is Shadow Dragon 620.
Yeah.
So the way how I did that, this was actually months ago. So Hearthstone wasn't working with Eclipsey for some reason. So I pressed randomizer and it was Shadow Dragon 620. So I have that. I want that to go on a jersey. The other one is
That's
when I was
good.
10, I was on CartoonNetwork.com creating an account to save all my games, right? And I didn't have no name, so I pressed the randomizer twice. And I've only used it once since then. I don't know if anybody in the room, but it was Jake Laser 79.
I remember.
I was
Jake
Jake Laser 79, and I've used that once with Trey on something. And they're like, "What's that?" I was like, "Oh, my Cartoon Network gamer tag." So yeah, those are my 3 gamer tags.
I think with Anna L's, my full name is Annabella, but like I was like, man, that's kind of. I think it's the same. Like that's kind of lame. Like I don't know what to make like a fun name out of like
Yeah.
Annabella, and I think I just changed like different letters around until it wasn't taken on Instagram. Like it literally, I think like Anna L or something like that was like taken. Anna Ella was taken, and then I was just like, man, I'm just gonna put random letters until
So this
something
works.
until it works. And Anna L's just like was birthed out of nowhere. Kind of wacky.
I think mark arc was actually taken when I made it. That's why it has the underscores. I
Yep.
was like, who else? Like, I mean,
Who else did this?
It's not like my name is uncommon, but who else is as clever as me to make the the silly little repeating noise?
Yeah, I'm sorry. I have a very common one.
I was about to say like.
He's
Trey,
related to Taylor Swift.
No.
He is the original T Swift.
So my name is Trey Swift, but Trey_Swift is what I usually go by. It's so generic. It's Trey for my first name, and then Swift is for my email, and that's just it.
Where did you get Swift from though?
When
Like
I
even for
first-
your email.
When I first made my email, it was based off the birds because I would read books about birds.
Swift.
All right.
It was the
Birds are
American Swift, which was like one of the best like American diving super animals, whatever.
Now
But-
we know.
But yeah,
Fun fact.
but I get
Dang.
recognized as Taylor Swift in game so often.
T
So,
Swift. He's a
T Swift.
major T Swift fan.
He is.
Are you?
Yeah,
Awesome. Well, this is perfect.
exactly.
It's his namesake.
You'd have to be.
Yeah.
By default,
Yes.
like you have to.
Taylor Swift, please.
Taylor Swift,
Taylor Swift
please.
and 100 Thieves. Please. We need that collab right now.
Well, that's all the questions I have for you guys.
I feel like we really went on.
We did
This
go
fucking
on. This is
talk
definitely the
too
most
much.
You're
like,
talking to the content creators. You're talking about going on tangents. That's
Wow,
what we
the
do.
content crew can make content.
We can
Wow.
all
Wow.
talk about
That's
it.
literally all the streamers. That's tangents.
Tim has
Yeah.
like one question, like, do you have a ritual? So like, my 350 gamer tag back in the Cartoon Network did.
No, he didn't even say ritual. It's like he brought up the word persona.
persona.
And
Oh, yeah,
we
we
And it
took
just,
it.
y'all just took it somewhere
Oh,
completely
Content,
different.
content.
But that's what we're here for, right? So,
Yes, sir.
but yeah, no, that's all the questions I have for you guys.
I'm
And
pretty
you-
sure most of us have underlying ADHD. But
You know
we'll get
what?
into
I'm
that
not
in
gonna
another
lie.
episode.
We'll save all that for,
Pretty
for
sure
the
I do.
second episode.
We
of
need a
content
second
crew.
episode.
We
of
do,
just going
yes.
for it.
Now I have
Too.
questions
And-
for you.
Okay, go ahead.
No, I don't.
Oh, okay, well, that's upsetting.
I do.
I'm sorry.
What does humid mean?
It's
I have a question, which we didn't bring up. Why did you want to do a podcast?
Ooh, that's a good one.
Now you have to go on a tangent.
Yeah.
At the
All right,
time,
my
we only
tangent
had
time.
Streamers and we
Your
only had casters. We didn't have anything else. Tim kind of started off the production crew. On
I
You don't have a white.
was
I was a
so
wee
like
lad.
I took an AV production class in my freshman year of high school.
When I met you, you first said that. That just brought back a memory. Keep going.
Okay,
Sorry.
y'all snapped. I thought I was in trouble. So cut it out, dude.
Get it on.
Freaking me out. Anyway, I really had fun in that class, and so it had made me think. I mean, I was still into gaming then. Oh, I should try like streaming and making videos, but like I didn't know how to do any of it. And so fast forward to a couple of years, we ended up moving back from Austin to San Antonio, and I bought my first PC and I started streaming Counter-Strike with this random kid I'd met online. And I tried streaming PUBG, but like my computer physically would like just turn off. It couldn't handle streaming
Plus,
and running PUBG at the
The
same
PUBG
time.
servers just
Yeah,
suck.
it was horribly optimized. So I was like, well, this is a sign. I'm not going to do this anymore. So I ended up going to college, and I was always kind of interested in like learning more about like professional players, like their personalities and like what goes on in like their daily lives. Like Hard Knocks, for those of you who don't know, is like a documentary for the NFL teams. And, like, I eat that stuff up. Like, I love watching those episodes. They're, like, an hour long. They're so entertaining. The players are hilarious. Like, it's just really entertaining to watch. So, we didn't really have anything like that here. And for the most part, we had streaming. We had casters for our matches. But the only thing we really didn't have was, like, YouTube production. So, I was like, well, like, this last fall, I was competing for our Valorant team. And I kind of got burnt out and just wasn't really having fun, so I decided to take a step back, and I had brought the idea up to Anna like
like a year and a half.
a year and a half ago, for multiple times, where I was like, man, I want to do this.
And I literally every single time was like, why don't you? A
Oh
month
no!
goes by and he says it again.
I
Why
think I should
don't
do this
you?
podcast. Go do it.
I mean, well,
Yeah, well, you see, there's this No. But no, yeah, I took a break and decided to make this, and so far, I mean,
Successful.
it's very successful. I mean, everyone that's come on has had fun. So I
It's
hope
fun.
y'all have fun.
I like
No.
it.
Good.
What
Very good.
podcast did
I
you
don't
say
know.
you would watch? What podcast?
Hard Knock.
Podcast one.
It's a TV show. It's not so much a podcast.
Oh.
But like the idea of getting to know players on teams and
Yeah.
like the management and stuff.
I kind of have like the same exact thing, but instead of NFL, it's Magic.
See, because I did that. Like 100 Thieves has stuff for like their
100
League of
Thieves
Legends.
Police.
Yeah, dude, I've been following Nate Shot since like I was
Courage is
like
the
10
reason I'm a
years old.
streamer.
Like I've
Courage.
literally like I watched every single one of his videos. Like
He's pretty much the goat for getting this
he
stuff
is, he
Yeah.
is.
I've
Like Nate
I've
Shot is
actually
definitely like
DM'd
if I have to look at
Did
like
you? Did you?
Yeah.
Is that like your idol when you?
Yeah. So
We're going off on a tangent.
yeah, it's
We're going
fine.
off on a
Yeah, so what's called real quick. So basically, my streaming style is based off Courage. So I based my streaming style off of Courage, JD, Jack Dunlop. I love you. When we did the charity stream back in like
You
the first
added
one
him.
summer, I added him and I messaged him on Instagram asking for tips. And so every big event, like the both 24-hour streams, my 6-hour stream, the bigger events or 12-hour stream, I've messaged him. Never got a message back,
Oh,
never got a
so-
scene.
No.
But one day when I meet him, I'm going to make him feel bad.
I actually have.
What?
You threatened him.
Bleep that out.
I actually have a stream idol too, and I feel like it's not someone that's like very well known. Her name is Gab Smulders. I think I've made you watch her before.
Yeah.
But she does horror streams. Like she's a horror streamer, and it's weird because like I never really saw like horror streamers. It was more so people that like pre-filmed it and then edited it and put it onto YouTube. Like it wasn't like a Twitch streamer, and she was like one of the only Twitch streamers I ever watched that like she only does or mainly does horror. I think she's kind of like branched off into other things like Minecraft and stuff like that. And like her stream style, like that's who I look to whenever I'm like, how should I do VODs? How should I like what should I stream? How should I like react? How should I do this stuff? Like that's the person I go to.
The
And, like,
energy.
I kind of like embody whenever I stream.
When I first stream and y'all hear that roar of my intro, that comes from Courage. That first, what's up, guys? Like, that comes from Courage.
Yeah, no.
Sponsored.
Definitely.
Kind of crazy.
Yeah, no, that's how the podcast got started.
Gab
Yeah.
Smulders, Courage.
I know.
Courage,
Thieves,
please.
Dude, I'm just gonna be honest. Like, I remember when 100 Thieves had like, they had just started their like org in like Black Ops 3, and they signed Aches as like one of their players for literally one tournament, and they had these like really like they didn't have like the most like set up stuff. And then I remember a year later, Nate Shot made a video about how like they brought on Prawley and they signed all these League of Legends players, and I was like, League of Legends? Why would they start with that? Nate Shot is their founder. He's in Call of Duty. Why aren't they in Call of Duty? And then it took off, and I was like, biggest fan, best move in the world.
I called it from the start.
I knew they would be successful.
Nice.
Please, 100 Thieves.
Should we do the outro before
The
we
outro-
go
oh
on
yeah,
another
no, we're
30
definitely gonna
minutes?
go on a
Yeah.
tangent.
Outro.
Okay, outro. So we thank you guys so much for coming on. I had a blast. I hope you all had a great time. If y'all aren't following us on all of our social media, it's gonna be at TAMUSA Esports. We'll be sure to leave some links in the description for y'all. We'll see you guys next time. Bye.
Bye.